Howdy folks, I'm Seth Perkins. You're watching The Bearded Butchers. You know the deal, we're at White Feather Meats here in Creston, Ohio, our butcher shop. Today I want to show you something we love to make. It's fun. We're going to do it on the Big Green Egg today. If you pan over here and you look at some of the items that we have in our fresh case, this is kind of a smoker's paradise. We've got tri-tips, ribs, pork shoulders, all kinds of steaks, bronc ribs, and right over here is a beef flank steak. But today, we're not gonna take it out of the case and take it to the grill. I'm gonna show you where it comes from on the carcass. So follow me, we're gonna cut a flank steak, and I'm gonna show you something pretty cool. Hey boys, what are you guys drinking? You got a beer? What is that? Oh, sarsaparilla and root beer. Caught him. Here are the beef carcasses. So if we want to grill something, I'm gonna come in here and I'm gonna get it. So I'm gonna show you where a flank steak is located, and then we'll take it out on the processing floor and I'll show you how we cook it up today. Located right inside the underbelly of this animal is the flank steak. Right here on the underbelly, you can see it. Strands are kind of going this direction. So we're simply gonna pull this out of the carcass. Normally I would do this out on the processing floor when we cut this half, but I wanted to show you where it's located and how we do it, hanging right here in the cooler. First thing we do is we strip that outer membrane off there, score the inside of this flank a little bit, and we start up at the top, sort of take your fingers just to get that flank started, using the tip of your knife to kind of help it along. And then just pull it out. Down towards the bottom, you kind of have to help assist it a little bit. Like that. So we're going to trim it up a little bit, and then I'm going to show you how we're going to cook it. Let's go to the processing floor. Now it's time to trim this flank. So what I like to do is just take my knife, hold it down like this, removing some of that excess fat. Once again, we're using our disposable cutting board. I know it may not make sense because we are working on a cutting table. However, our processing room is cleaned up for the afternoon once again, and we simply don't want to get it dirty again. So that's why we're using our disposable cutting board. So now that I have that fat removed like that, what I want to do is show you something pretty cool that we like to do with these flanks. You want to move it towards the edge of your table, and then you want to make it nice and flat. Tune my knife up a little bit. I want to talk about something for a second. A lot of people have commented on our videos saying that when we sharpen our knives, we shouldn't sharpen it over top of the meat, or maybe we didn't wipe it off afterwards because we're removing flakes of metal from our knife and it's falling down onto the meat. That's not true. This steel right here is a smooth steel. So all we're doing is simply rolling our edge back into place, going from side to side. If it makes you feel comfortable, you can go ahead and give it a wipe, but you're certainly not having flakes of metal fall off your blade onto the meat. So just to clear that up. So what we want to do is hold it nice and flat, starting at the top. Take your knife, and we're going to butterfly this. So if you wonder what I'm doing, we're going to take this flank and we are going to butterfly it right down the middle, because today we're going to stuff it, and I'll show you what we're going to stuff it with. Take your time. If it takes you a while, that's okay. I've done a few of these, so can kind of move about it fairly quick. Just make sure that you don't put a bunch of holes in it, because that's where you're gonna run into problems with your ingredients coming out. When you get down here to this end, this other side, sort of stop when you feel yourself getting close to going all the way through. So I can feel we're getting pretty close. At this point, I think we're just gonna go ahead and stop with that. So what we have now is a flank steak that has been butterflied. And now what we can do is fill this with our ingredients. So we love to use feta cheese, onions, and peppers. You can put other fillings in this. You can use maybe cream cheese, maybe you want to use some jalapenos, habaneros, pretty much whatever ingredients that you like to put inside this, have at it. Ours happens to be feta cheese, peppers, and onions. So along the, as we're mixing these ingredients and we're putting them inside this flank, we're going to be using our chipotle seasoning. It's not hot. The kids can enjoy it. It has a smoked pepper in it, so it actually has a little bit of a smoke flavor. This is available in a 6-ounce bottle and a 4.5-pound bucket. So depending on how much you're going to be smoking and using any of our blends, both of those are available on our website. If you buy the bucket, you get one of these for free. So just keep that in mind. Buy a bucket, you get a shaker of that flavor for free. And this is also available in all of the flavors that we have on our website. So anyways, enough of that. Let's start filling this flank steak. Starting with the feta cheese, I have maybe, I don't know, 3/4 of a pound or so. You can use as much as you want. So if you want to use less, by all means do that. If you want to use more. But I've found that this is a pretty decent amount to fill one of these flank steaks. So just make a nice even coating inside here with that feta. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my chipotle and we're going to put a nice coating of chipotle seasoning right on top of that feta cheese. Nice liberal coating, just like that. Now it's time for the veggies. So I'm just going to remove the core out of these peppers, sort of knocking the seeds out of them. And you can use whatever color of pepper you want. You can use green, well, orange, red, whatever. Like I said, jalapenos, pretty much whatever floats your boat. So we're just going to dice these up into some nice slivers. This Victorinox knife that we've mentioned over and over again, it's nice for cutting up stuff like this too. So cut them up however you want. If you want to leave them, you know, like this, you certainly can. You can dice them into smaller pieces, however you like. This is going to have a really nice color when we put it on this filling, this feta cheese inside this flank. So now our veggies are done, and let's just put them on our flank. Sort of trying to get them mixed and dispersed evenly, and just judge, you know, the amount of vegetables you want on here. If you want to cut it back a little bit, use less. If you want to add a little more, use more. There's certainly, you can add your own twist to this and make it however you like. So I think that's pretty good, the amount of vegetables we're going to use. Sort of flatten things down just using your hands. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take this flank and sort of like rolling a burrito, keeping everything all tucked inside, we're just going to roll it up. This is why it's important to make sure that you don't cut any holes in that meat, because at this point all that stuffing would be coming out. At this point, we're going to throw some string on it. Hey, are you getting this? See this guy making fun of me? Somewhere in the background, he's always making fun of me. Now it's time to put the strings on it. Gonna move it to our cutting board. I'm gonna use our butcher's twine. This is a 16 ply. You can snag this off of Amazon if you want. We'll throw a link in, throw some knots on here. Pulling these, pull it pretty tight, but don't pull it too tight that it'll actually cut through the meat. So just starting, I usually start in the middle, and then I'll show you what I'll do. So I just put a couple strings on in the middle. You can see it's kind of pulling the end up. So now what you want to do is you want to go to your end and tie your end in, and that'll kind of help seal things in. Still, we're going to lose a little bit, but that's okay. So do that end, come down here, tie this end in. And then we will just go back to the middle, working our way all the way out. You can put as many strings on here as you want. It's really up to you. If you don't feel like tying this many, that's fine. It is going to hold together better with the more strings you have on it. These strings will not burn during the cooking process if you're wondering about that. So these will stay on the whole time. We'll remove the strings at the very end. My OCD kicks in if I don't tie them nice and even, so try to get them looking nice. I think one more string will do it. All right. So now this flank is all rolled up and it's ready for the grill. So like I mentioned before, today we're using a big green egg. Let's go outside, let's get it lit. Today we're going to use the extra large big green egg. Our friends over at Rockwood Charcoal make some really nice charcoal. We really like it. So today we're going to be using Rockwood. Get our fire starter. Typically we break it into about 3 pieces. Light the fuzzy end. Tuck it underneath the charcoal a little bit. Now, we're using the big green egg today. You can also achieve this same cook on a pellet grill. You can use a briquette charcoal grill. You can use a gas grill. Heck, you could even use your oven and finish it in a cast iron skillet. So just because we're using a big green egg doesn't mean that you can't achieve the same thing with whatever device you have at home to cook. What we're going to do is we're going to get this fire lit. We're going to add some hickory wood chunks to our coal, and we're going to smoke that flank low and slow, probably about 225, thinking probably an hour, hour and a half. Then what we'll do is we'll remove our convector out of this grill, and we're going to crank our temperature up to maybe around 450, and we're going to sear it. So essentially it is a reverse sear that we'll be doing on this flank. We're going to let this fire take off here. We'll add our wood chunks, throw our convector in, add the flank roll, and check back. So I mentioned we're using hickory wood chunks, and I like to just take and spread these out inside the coal bed. Just use a nice, nice handful. You don't have to get crazy and dump the entire bag in there or anything like that. So I don't know, I probably have 8 to 10 pieces, and that's going to be enough to do the whole smoke on our flank roll. You can see that hickory smoke lofting off the grill. Ah, man, it smells awesome. So let's get the convector in and we'll start smoking it. Let's go ahead and set that in. Just like that. Throw our grate on. And you'll notice that I did put some foil on the convector for the plate setter, just so that when our flank roll drips and that cheese, that feta cheese drips out of there, it's easier to clean the convector. So let's go ahead and set our masterpiece on there, our flank roll masterpiece. And let's just go ahead and sprinkle a little more of that chipotle on there. We want to cover the whole outside with chipotle. Now, we're going to maintain a temperature of like around 225 to 250. And we'll just kind of keep an eye on it, see how long it takes, but I predict probably somewhere around an hour. And then at that point, we'll pull the convector out, we'll crank our heat up to maybe 400, 450, and we'll sear it to an internal temp of about 135. We'll slice it, and I have a surprise for you at the end of the video. Another use for Bearded Butcher Blend seasoning. So stay tuned, we'll be right back. We've been about an hour or so. I did raise the temperature just a little bit during the process, and you can do that. I was probably closer to, I don't know, upper 2s, may even hit 3 there at one point. But right now, we're in the mid 120s, a little bit hotter on the ends. It's actually in the 130s on the end. So at this point, we're going to take our flank roll, set it to the side. We're gonna grab the grate. We're gonna pull the grate out. So let's just go ahead and hang this on our cart. Careful, because it's super hot. We're gonna lift the convector out, and you can see that's why I put that foil on there, because it did drip a little bit. Gonna set that to the side because that's smoking hot. At this point, let's grab our grill grate and put it back on. Now, we're gonna let this fire get a little bit hotter, get it up around 450, and we're gonna sear it off and then slice it and serve it. So while we're waiting for this grill to heat up, let's talk a little bit about this weather. The last time we were out here, we were doing a corned beef video, and it was freezing cold. Now, it's April, the sun is shining, the grass is turning green, and it is beautiful out. So no better time to fire up your grill and make something that's gonna be as delicious as this. So it's a good day. We're plenty hot. The charcoal's glowing. It's time to put this masterpiece back on the grill. Hear that sizzle? May even hit it with a little bit more seasoning while we're at it. So now at this point, we're just gonna grill it like you would a steak or anything like that. We're gonna close our lid, and we'll periodically open the lid and move it around just a little bit. So we're just gonna open the lid occasionally and maybe just give it a roll on all the sides so that it gets the same amount of sort of searing all the way around. We are mid 130s, a couple spots hit 140. We're done. If anybody's wondering about the thermometer, Insta-Read, Big Green Egg, love it, use it all the time. So at this point, let's just go ahead and take our, look at that, and get some of that sizzle, Spencer. Wow. Look at that cheese melting out the end. This is gonna be incredible, I know it. So at this point, we're just gonna go ahead and let it set and let it rest for a minute, and then we'll slice it and we'll get some taste testers. The flank has had time to rest. I wanted to show you something. You can see this flank I pulled out of our meat case. The grains are running this way. So you can marinate this, grill it, and then slice it against the grain. This flank, the grains are still all going this way. So I'm gonna remove the strings, and then I'm gonna slice this down through going this direction, that way it's still against the grain. So let's get the strings off and get to slicing. These strings, you can see that they did not burn. Even though I had that grill up to about 450 at one point, these strings didn't burn at all. So we'll just go ahead and get the strings off. Just remove all of those, and we will just start slicing. So I went ahead and grabbed my larger 8-inch Victorinox knife. Wow. Look at that. See all that feta cheese and peppers in there? That just looks incredible. incredible. And I know it's going to taste incredible too. Super tender, cutting it against the grain. Wow. So that, my friends, is a stuffed beef flank. Now, I want to show you something that we like to do, sort of a little tip. If you take some mayonnaise, pop some mayonnaise in a bowl, and then you take some of our seasoning, doesn't matter which flavor it is. Today we're going to use the chipotle again. Pretty healthy dose of seasoning. And you whip this up. What you have here is an aioli that we're going to use as a dipping sauce for this flank roll. You can add a little more if you like, sort of season it, season it to taste, however you want to do it. So sometimes to serve this, what I like to do is cut it right down the center like this. If you do that, it makes the serving sizes smaller, and then you can just sort of piece meal it out from the sides and serve it. We've moved back inside. I brought this guy in. I'm sure.
I always get to join for the fun part.
Right? He gets a taste test. So this is a perfect party tray display. Set this in front of a bunch of people and just go ham on it. Usually what we do is grab a little of the aioli we made and just stab a chunk and go to town. Which one are you getting?
I'm just gonna go for something like center cut. Look at that. Oh, that looks delicious.
We're gonna double dip a little bit. We're all family.
I love because you get the feta and then the flavors start coming through with the aioli. Got a nice creaminess. Perfect job cooking. The beautiful medium, and the vegetables are nice and soft, cooked all the way through. By far, one of my favorite dishes. And like Seth mentioned, one that's really good too that you can have, like this makes great Super Bowl party tray. Everybody can just gather around, enjoy some of this awesome flank roll. Those veggies in the center. If you don't want the feta cheese, you can mix it up. You can put different cheeses in there. I'm sure you probably already covered that.
I mentioned that earlier. Yeah, so this is a cut that we absolutely love. We grill it all summer long. Just remember that if you don't have a flank steak, you can use a venison backstrap, you can use an elk backstrap, anything like that you can butterfly open and fill, roll it, tie it, throw it under a grill, you can achieve this. We wanted to share with you one of our favorite meals that we grill, and here it is. So we don't have an official name for it other than flank roll. Kind of created that on our own. Give it a try. Hopefully you enjoyed. And remember, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Hit that bell for notifications. We've got tons more coming. You guys seem to like these videos where we go to the cooler, we pull a cut, we take it all the way to the grill, to the plate. So we'll keep doing that. We're gonna add some more processing videos in. Maybe even do some more further processing, like some sausage making and summer sausage and things like that. So don't forget to follow along there. Bearded Butchers on Facebook, Bearded Butcher Blend on Instagram. Check it out there. We appreciate you guys. Thanks for watching, and happy grilling.